Happy Saturday, everyone. This is WagerTalk's last call. Kelly Stewart here. We got Gianni the Greek coming up. Bryan, Leonard talks some baseball. Hakeem Prophet. Maybe he's got some NBA summer league for us, but he's definitely got some WNBA. He's been on fire there. I'm excited to be back from Detroit, finally getting my life in order, getting ready for football season, working on some of those season win totals, and maybe a couple of season-long player props. We'll get into that as well. But let's bring in the man, VR. We're going to bring him in right away because he's got steam for us. VR is frantically fixing some stuff on the back end. You said you got some baseball steam, then your computer timed out. Let's hear about some of that baseball steam, since I don't think you're going to be able to give it to your clients.
Yeah, actually, we got a lot from soccer to MMA to baseball and even NBA Summer League. You just touched on that. And I actually just received 5 plays. They're time sensitive, Kel. So like they win long term, but you got to get down on good numbers. That's the problem. Right now, just bet exactly right now, 580 Minnesota minus 4.5. That's 580 Minnesota minus 4.5. Let me give you the baseball first, because I just got the NL covered so far. Because what I do with the steam sheet now is not only do I share all the moves, but I star those that I have the strongest leans on based on my handicap and our implied win probability. So the baseball really quick for you, 951 Colorado plus 140 and the under 9, Pittsburgh plus 120. And then these two sides, I actually came close to firing premiums, but I'd need plus money and they flipped. That's 956 Cincinnati and 958 St. Louis. So both of those, they steamed at plus 110, plus 105, even money. That's why both of those are favored. They were kind of hit overnight, just didn't have time to get plus money. Again, I lean those sides. And if it wasn't such a busy day of Saturday where I have not just World Cup, but I released 5 soccer plays in Argentina and Ecuador, make sure you go to WagerTalk.com. At least 3 of those are up for free. All of those are 4% plays because they all do really well historically. So make sure you check those out. But that's some of the early baseball. Real quickly, that NBA Summer League I was talking about, I'll read those off to you. 571 over 177, Miami, Orlando. 573 under 181.5, New Orleans, Charlotte. 575 over 181.5, Indiana, Philadelphia. 577 under 175.5, Knicks, San Antonio. 2 sides, San Antonio minus 3.5, and the one that just came in right now, 580 Minnesota minus the 4.5. So yeah, there's a lot going on, and the return of Conor McGregor means the sports books filled with MMA fans waiting to bet that later card as well. So just a lot of stuff going on today, Kel. It's a good day to be a bookmaker, probably.
I know. I do want to talk about that fight really quick. Question in the chat, though. Pirates game 1 or game 2, or was it a play on both?
No, 550. That's why I always give the bet number 554 on 554. So if that's game 2, that's the one that and actually hit both, actually, not except Pittsburgh's in 982 game 1, they opened as the favorite. And I didn't see it get steamed. I lean that way based on my implied win probability, but I didn't see it in any of the accounts. But the second game, good question. I'm glad he asked that. It's the second game that I agree with, and I see in the accounts that they did also take Pitt in those accounts.
All right, I do want to talk about McGregor Holloway, and we're going to save that for the end of the segment. So we got 2 World Cup games today. Yeah. And so we've got England, Norway, which I think is going to be a really fun one. And then Argentina, Switzerland. I know you mentioned you have a play up on Argentina, Switzerland over on WagerTalk.com. Have you seen anything in the first game? I know it doesn't kick off until 5 p.m. tonight.
Yeah, they're betting England coming off that game against Mexico, and they're betting the game over. I did see sharp money on Norway. That's reflected in the 3-way lines because I think most sharp bettors expected a slight letdown off of that game. I mean, England played their absolute best game, and usually you're going to regress or progress towards the mean. If you play your worst game, you should play a little better next week. If you play your best game, you're probably not going to be able to repeat that performance. So I think it was a little bit of that more so than a bet on Norway. I think it was kind of like a fade on England. I haven't seen anything on the side in Switzerland and Argentina. It's no secret. I have big futures pending on Spain and Argentina. Again, Argentina was my long shot at 10-1. Spain was my money at 5.5, 6-1. And we bet them to get to the semifinals. I get to the quarterfinals, semifinals, finals, and win the whole thing. So I'm a huge Spain fan heading into Tuesday. But they're betting that Switzerland-Argentina game over also. So they're betting both these games over. And it's kind of no surprise. With England and Norway, you're looking at two teams that scored a lot of goals throughout the entire World Cup. I mean, in the group stage, England put up a total of 8 goals. They put up 6. They allowed 2. Norway put up 8, allowed 7. And then in these last knockout stage, 8 goals in England games in 2 and 6 goals in both of Norway's games overall. Like, they're averaging over 3 goals per game for sure. That's why the public sees it. Like, they're coming in scoring goals. On paper, they look like they should be scoring goals. But that total worries me a little bit if you're betting that over blindly. I know there's even some sharp money on that over, but there's a lot of 2.5s out there, Kel. And again, just reading it from a market perspective, like, if I'm a bookmaker, I know I'm going to get over money. Now, maybe I don't want to push. Maybe I do want there to be a result. So maybe I do throw it out at 2.5. But again, it was a little bit surprising to me that it wasn't 3 across the board, because these are two teams that have been putting up goals. Or Switzerland, Argentina, a little bit different, because Switzerland in their knockout stage, I think they won like 0-0 or 1-0. Like, they haven't scored. Argentina's been doing all the scoring, and usually need 2 teams to score to get an over. So I understand that one, but England, Norway, like, why that one isn't 3 across the board, that's a little worrisome if you have the over. I'll tell you that.
I was going to say it's a little telling.
Yeah.
I don't bet a lot of soccer, but I have gotten absolutely obliterated this World Cup because it has been so square. I still have 1 survivor left. And I used Spain yesterday, which is not sounding good now that I know that you have a big futures bet on Spain. I have remaining teams. I was keeping France to win the whole thing. I don't have to. I can use France in the next round. I was thinking about using England today because I've already used Norway, but I do have Argentina and Switzerland both available. Do you think I save France and Argentina and hope England can beat Norway today?
Oh,
I know.
I would look for England to get knocked out. Like, if that could spring me forward, because I think everybody's going to have whoever has England's probably going to use them today.
Yeah. Well, they all used Spain yesterday. A lot of people actually use Morocco and Belgium because I think a lot of people were wanting to save certain other teams like in Argentina. Argentina looked very susceptible against Egypt. I was sitting in the WagerTalk offices kicking myself, going, of course, this is the day I don't bet the dog. And then Argentina comes roaring back, as you mentioned. From a fan perspective, of course, I want to cheer from Norway. This has been such a fun team. They're like the little bit of a long shot, not like a huge underdog, obviously, but I think they weren't even in the top 10 to win this whole thing. So they're a really fun team, but I already used them, and it's for 100 grand. So there's like 400 of us left. Obviously right now it's not worth a lot, but I was kind of looking at the matrix, and I'm not sure if I want to zig, because every time I've zigged in the World Cup, the dog has gotten obliterated or loses in penalty kicks or just something horrific. It's just been one of those tournaments.
I have Norway, their probability, believe it or not, I have a greater probability of beating England than Switzerland has beating Argentina. And that's not a bias of Argentina, because actually, like, I should want to hedge with Switzerland, but I'm not even going to do it. I'm not going to hedge at all with Switzerland because I have Spain still live, and I just think Argentina is just on paper just so much better. And it's one of those spots where I even think they get it done in within that time frame. They won't even need extra time. I don't think Switzerland scores. I think they're having a really tough problem scoring on Argentina. I know they've given up goals, Argentina, in the knockout stage, but look what they did in the group stage. They gave up only 1 goal, and now it really matters. I think you get their A game off of that scare against Egypt. I think that scare is why you get their A game. And if they get bounced, I think it happens next game. Again, I have a future in Argentina, so I hope it doesn't happen. But I don't think Argentina is the best team, but they're right there. I mean, it's France, Spain, and Argentina is the lead.
And I did use Spain yesterday to advance, so I've already taken Spain. We'll see how it plays out. Let's get to some MMA real quick because I know you have a busy morning.
Oh, yeah.
Are you doing the steam room today, VR?
Yeah, absolutely. Doing that for subscribers. We'll be in there at 1 p.m. Eastern because I want to give them a heads up, the first power ratings in NFL and college football. I'm doing video for Wager Talk next week on Friday, doing a bunch of content where I'm going to release NFL power ratings, college football power ratings, so you have them ready for the preseason. You remember how well they did last year. So I'm going to give those out and also do some more NFL college football content for you guys later on this week. So the Steam Room, we're going to go over, they'll get the first set of power ratings. And of course, we're going to go over all of today's action, MMA, World Cup, MLB, NBA, all of that stuff. And because I'm trying to stay more lower volume, I'm adding a lot to the Steam sheet. It's tough on a day like this because there's so many markets.
Yeah, it is tough, but being able to have that Steam sheet, people are able to handicap their own stuff.
Exactly.
To qualify if they want to have more plays. But I agree, for your subscribers, you got to keep it lower volume because if you just dump 30 plays, that's a lot of bankroll at stake. All right, Let's get into this MMA card. Interesting comment. Thoughts on a Kavanaugh-Holloway parlay. VR, this is how I know Conor McGregor is going to get his ass kicked tonight. Every single person I know is messaging me, Cal, what do you think about Conor tonight? What do you think about Conor tonight? What do you think about Conor tonight? It reminds me of the boxing match. Okay. It feels like the exact same thing. You've got Conor over here saying he hasn't had sex in like over a month and he's ready to do all this stuff. We have kind of seen him be relatively quiet. I do think that's fair. Maybe his head is in the game, but he sure seems like a square dog tonight.
Kel, before the fight starts, there's going to be a ton of McGregor money. It's been McGregor nonstop, and it's going to be even more McGregor money. But rest assured, there's a lot of risk on Holloway from sharp bettors, and there's a lot of parlays tied into Holloway. It's going to be interesting to see as the card progresses where the books end up heading into the main event. Meaning if the favorites did well early, do they have a ton of risk with 6, 7, 8 fighter parlays all pending on Holloway, where they'll need the McGregor side at that point? Or is it even more risk on McGregor? From what I've heard, the parlay action and sharp action is on Holloway, a ton of public money on McGregor, and I'm not surprised. Again, there's so many new MMA fans that just have joined since, the COVID over the last couple of years. So all they heard is of McGregor, the legend of McGregor. And he's such a great self-promoter that he almost convinced me that I should be betting him as a 2-1 dog. But it absolutely is one of the worst bets you could possibly make today. And here's why. Because you had all of 6, 7, 8 weeks to get 3-1 or better on Conor McGregor. What were you waiting for? If you thought he offered you value and he was the right side, why didn't you bet him at plus 350? Why didn't you bet him at plus 300? Why didn't you even bet him at plus 250? That was just available 2 weeks ago, not even. Just go back to July 7th, July 8th, July 9th. You could get those numbers. Like, again, June, forgive me. So you have a lot of McGregor money that made it easy for value bettors. If you're going to, today, it's easy. Let me slow down. If you're betting for action or you're betting to enjoy the fight and you bet who you like, cheer it in. But if you're betting for profit, if your goal is to use the sports betting market as an investment vehicle, the market made it simple for you. You can only bet Holloway or leave it alone. Because if you're betting for profit, then one of the goals is to bet at the opportune time, the best time. And today's not the best time to bet Conor McGregor. It's the absolute worst time to bet Conor McGregor because we know there were weeks where he was sitting there as a 3-1 underdog. To me, that's just the bottom line where it makes it that simple. Now, again, I think there's a ton of value on Holloway because of McGregor being inactive for as long as he has, coming off a horrific injury and hasn't fought since that injury, fighting in a weight class that he's not, it's all new. And he's only a 2-1 dog against Max Holloway. Again, McGregor's dangerous, especially early on, and he could very easily knock Max Holloway out. He's got the power, he's got the striking, and early he will be dangerous. But again, that as far as value goes, there's no doubt anything less than minus 300, where Holloway has to, win this fight 3 out of 4 times. It's the plus EV side, Kel. Again, forget that they fought. That was such a long time ago. All the noise, just eliminate all the noise and simply look at 2 different fighters at different points in their lives and careers. One's actually fighting and has been fighting. The other one's convincing us that he wants to fight. And he's still that guy that he was 10 years ago. It's an easy choice. Again, it would be a great story, and it would be great for MMA and the UFC for McGregor to get this knockout and get it done. But I live in the real world where usually fairy tales don't end up actually happening. And I think Holloway gets the W.
I do too. I'm just going to tell everybody, sure, I'll put your $20 in. And
Yeah.
just hang on to it instead of betting
Yeah.
the $3 favorite in this one. That's what I did with the boxing match. Same. VR, you are the best. Everybody make sure you head over to WagerTalk.com, see what Ace has got up for today's slates. Before we get to Bryan, he's waiting in the wings. I got to tell you guys what's going on over at Picks and Parlays right now. You get 3 free flex picks, pnp.buzz/flex. When you get there, use coupon code LCFlex. This is for today only. So if you guys have never been to Picks and Parlays, or you are even a Picks and Parlays current customer, we're still going to give you 3 free flex picks. LCFlex. Get you it today only. It does expire at midnight. All right. The man, the myth, the legend, Bryan Leonard from the best baseball show on YouTube. At least that's what the comment section says. Total Bases. You guys were on this morning. And I thought, you know what? Let me just carry that momentum over to this show. VR and I didn't talk a lot of baseball. He mentioned some of the steam that he saw. So we'll get into some of that as well. Welcome in, Bryan Leonard.
Hey, it's great to see you, Kelly. And I appreciate you having me on the show today. Yeah, I'm on the Total Bases show Monday through Friday, and we did Saturday an hour later, and we're actually doing a show tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 noon Eastern, because the All-Star break is about to happen, and we wanted to get one more day in. So it'll be our first ever Sunday Total Bases show, and I'm currently undefeated in Sunday baseball. It's on that show.
I love that. We're also going to boot you guys the Sunday come football season, but that's a whole nother argument that I've talked with Adam Trigger about. Let's talk about the All-Star break. So right now we're just kind of coasting in, right? We'd like to think that teams don't quit or they don't just let out a big sigh before this break, but we know that it happens. So let's talk about some teams going into this break that we're looking to bet on, some teams we're looking to bet against.
Yeah, basically, I treat it as if I try to put myself in the position of the players. And obviously, I've never played professional baseball, but I remember when I was back in school and you had your vacation coming up, and these guys have been playing baseball since like late February. So they've been out there a long time, and now they're getting a few days off. They've got their plans already. Most of them have already got everything booked. They're going to the Bahamas or whatever. So you've got to realize that, yeah, you lose a little bit of focus here. And usually the teams I'm looking to fade are teams that came into the season with a lot of potential. A lot of people thought they would play well during the season to make the playoffs, and with a lot of veterans. And those are the teams I usually try to fade. That would be a team like the Mets, although the Mets have faded basically the entire season. They're starting to hit a little bit better now, starting to play a little bit better. That's fine. But you've got all these guys that thought they were going to be going to the playoffs, and they've been out of it all season long. Veteran teams like that. We've got a lot of teams like Boston starting to play better now. They were also in that same group where they thought they were at a good chance to make the playoffs, but they're playing better now. But you also have teams that are really struggling in the first half of the season, and they're going into the break now, and they can't wait for the break. Your teams like the Kansas Cities, a lot of teams out there that have really struggled. Toronto's another team that, coming off the World Series last year, they had high expectations. Now, granted, they've had a lot of injuries. They've been a lot of injuries on that team, But Atlanta's also had a lot of injuries, and Atlanta's still one of the best teams in baseball. So you really have to look at what is going on. And so I'd look to fade the teams that had higher expectations going into the All-Star break. It doesn't always work out that way, but it puts you on the right track most of the time.
All right. So last night, I'm getting roused by John Murray, a pretty regular occurrence in the group chat. And he said, Cal, have you been watching your White Sox? I'm like, no, absolutely not. And someone else said, wait, don't you have them to win their division? I'm like, oh, yeah, I did put that little flyer of a bet in. 35-1 right now, kind of just jockeying for first, second, back and forth, back and forth. What would you do if you were holding that 35-1 ticket? I mean, I'm a little nervous that the White Sox are overachieving so much before the All-Star break. Sometimes we see that. We see it in NFL. Teams they're 7-1. That week 9 bye week, and all of a sudden the wheels fall off. So I'm not even close to celebrating yet, but teams that have overachieved this first half, Bryan, what are you expecting from some of those here in the second half of the season?
Well, if you remember, Kelly, I'm the one that told you, what was it, last year or the year before, that the White Sox were going to be terrible. But I really liked what they were doing, and they are playing very well. They're only overachieving because they were so bad last year, and they've got a young team. I love the hiring of the coach. I thought my Cleveland team should have gotten him when it happened. But the White Sox are a young team, and they're playing well. They got their third baseman back yesterday. It was another great signing for them. So yeah, they may be slightly overachieving, but they're in a division where I don't think there's anybody that's any better. I said a few weeks ago that based on what Detroit had done, I thought Detroit had a lot of bad luck, and they've been winning lately. So if you want to hedge, I would hedge playing Detroit because I don't think Cleveland's going to get there. I'm just not that impressed with anything other from the hitting side from Cleveland. And the other teams in the division just have not impressed me at all. So if you've got them at 35, you go out there and get Detroit. Detroit's still like 4 games out of first, 4.5 out of first, but you can still get good plus money on them. So if you're looking to do that, that's what I'm looking for. Detroit's a team with a lot of veterans on that team. I like the coaching staff there. I think they've got one of the best coaches in baseball. I think Tampa Bay's also got a great coach. So these are the teams I'm looking to play on. The smaller conference teams, the smaller teams that, if you take a look at what I would call small ball teams, your Milwaukee's, your Cleveland's, your Tampa Bay's, they don't have a lot of money. They're smaller areas that are really like an afterthought. Those are the teams I always like to back because they are the most well-run teams in baseball. And now you're seeing it. Tampa Bay's in first place. Cleveland's right there. And Milwaukee obviously has been the hottest team in baseball for quite some time. So if you've got a team with a low payroll that has good management, and I think teams like Miami, the White Sox are getting there now, those teams will be able to stick around the second half of the season. Some of these other teams that have gotten off to good starts, not that impressed with them. Philadelphia's gotten off to a pretty decent start since the change of the coach, but it wasn't the coach. They just played a lot of weaker teams ever since they fired him. But some of those teams have not been good. Colorado's played better on the road than they have at home this year. In Colorado, we always call them the Road Rockies, the Rocky Road, because they've been terrible on the road. They've got some young players on this team too. The problem is with Colorado is the management there is terrible. Ownership is terrible. And so I don't think they're going to get any better. But there's a lot more things to handicap other than the players when you're handicapping baseball.
Yeah, absolutely. And you guys get into that every single day here on the WagerTalk YouTube channel. At least this week, you guys are doing a show every single day. Pretty impressive stuff by the total bases, guys. So if you guys have not got to check out that show yet, it is a baseball show. It is not this show where we're having a lot of fun. They are getting into deep metrics, and some of it's a little convoluted for just a regular handicapper. You got to understand baseball, and those guys do a good job of breaking it down for you. Let's talk about today's card, Bryan. I know tomorrow you guys are going to go over the card on total bases, 9 a.m., right? 9 a.m. show tomorrow.
And so Monday through Friday normally, yes.
God bless you. Yeah, see, like the comment section knows, baseball is my favorite sport. Listen, I love to go to baseball games. Does that count? I like to go to baseball games. It's a lot of fun. VR gave out some stuff. I know you were kind of waiting in the wings, but I'm going to repeat some of it. He did mention the Rockies today was a sharp side, and the under, which both just sound nauseating to me. No one wants to take an under in a Rockies game. And as somebody who kind of grew up a Rockies fan as well, I don't really ever want to take the Rockies. But then every once in a while, that big plus money cashes, and they're a fun team to bet on.
Yeah, you're looking at a total of 8.5 here in San Francisco, and that's pretty high. San Francisco, it's an interesting ballpark because even when the wind is blowing out, and I've seen times where the wind is blowing out 15, 20 miles an hour, doesn't mean there's going to be more home runs. They don't hit many home runs in San Francisco. It just means that ball moves all over the place. It's really a tough place to play defense if you're looking at pop-ups and fly balls, because a lot of times that wind's just taking that ball, and so that's how they score a lot of the runs there. Kyle Freeland's on the mound. He's a lefty going for Colorado, and granted, in his history, he's gotten a lot of meaningful innings for Colorado, but he's just not pitching well this year. He's been very bad. I saw him pitch in person here in Vegas when Colorado played the A's, but he's just not pitched well, and I don't trust him at all in this game. Tyler Mahle's a guy that when he's healthy, he's a pretty good pitcher, but I wouldn't be on Colorado in this game. And the only reason you would be is because San Francisco had to use so much bullpen arms the last couple of days. If you want to play Colorado, just wait in the game and maybe play a live bet after the first 5 innings and take the Colorado bullpen over San Francisco, might get a little bit value there. But if I'm playing, I prefer San Francisco. They've dominated Colorado over the years. I believe they're like 40-12. So they've dominated the series, lost that game yesterday in late fashion. I expect a pretty good bounce back here from San Francisco. So, yeah, I'm going against the wise guys on that one.
All right, let's talk about Cincinnati. That was another one on his list. Here's kind of the thought process, what we just spoke about earlier for those just joining the show. Almost 1,500 of you guys watching live. We've got these teams we're looking to bet on and looking at these teams to bet against. Talk to me about Cincinnati today and maybe after the All-Star break.
Yeah, Cincinnati, I'm dumbfounded when it comes to their offense. They've got the worst offense in baseball. I believe their WRC plus is 88 right now. There's a couple teams at 89, but that's ridiculous. If you look at the way Cincinnati plays, and they mix and match. I know, obviously, the coach there used to be in Cleveland, and I'm from Cleveland, so I follow him very well. He likes to use a lot of the guys off the bench, keep everybody fresh. And they have that ability. They've got a lot of guys that play different positions. I like that. But they have not hit well this year, and I really don't understand it. If you take a look at their lineup 1 through 9, coming into the season, you would have to say they have no weaknesses in that line. The problem is they've got some guys that we had high expectations for that have not played well in Cincinnati this year. Even yesterday, they had a low-scoring game. They had to hit that home run by the shortstop, De La Cruz, which is a fantastic player, to take that 1-0 lead. And they basically won that game just off of that. They had a great game pitching. Green was out all season long. He's come back, pitched terrific yesterday. So I think Cincinnati, the second half of the season, is a team I want to bet on. The problem you have is I think the Cubs are a better team than Cincinnati is. I don't like the starting pitcher today, Assad. He's done well for them, but I would prefer Lodolo, who's had injuries all season long. He's a lefty. But Chicago's the better team. And the line telling you it's a pick 'em, I agree. I don't think you see a lot of value in this one. But the Cubs and Cincinnati are two teams in the second half of the season I'm going to look to play on. Cubs have had a lot of pitching injuries. And if they get some of those guys back, they're going to be a team to really reckon with in the second half of the season.
All right, Bryan, tell everybody what you got going on over at WagerTalk.com for today. And then give our audience a play of the day that narrowly missed that premium card.
There you go. Well, I've had a really nice run here. Number one lifetime over WagerTalk. What have you been around 12, 11, 13, something like that years. Number one all-time in Major League Baseball net profit. Number one the last 30 days in Major League best in profit. On an 11-1 run on our 4 and 5 star selections. I had a 4% yesterday on Tampa. Easy wire-to-wire winner. I've got another one up on today's card that I really like. It is a day game. It's a 4% play, 11-1 on 4 and 5% plays. And I believe I'm on like a 75% run or something really outrageous going back to last month. It's been a really nice run for us, seeing the cards very well. check that out right now on the website. And there's a lot of great long-term packages out there for you. So if you're looking for a long-term handicapper, I may be somebody you might want to consider. I am going to use a game in which I'm going to give you a total. Right now, there's some teams I'm looking to play on in one of the games teams I'm looking to play on is Detroit. I just recommended to you that they're a good bet. I said this a couple of weeks ago that I thought there was great value in them, and they're playing Philadelphia tonight. Christopher Sanchez, the lefty going for Philadelphia. If you remember last time he went out, he gave up like 9 earned runs in 3 1/3 innings. He had to take one for the team. That was by far his worst start of his career. If you go back, Sanchez this year, he's had 2 games in which he did not really pitch well. The games after that, one game he went 7 shutout innings. The other game he went 6 2/3 innings, gave up only 2 earned runs. I expect a really good game for him today. He's a lefty, and Detroit's got some powerful bats in the lineup that are lefties. They'll either struggle against him or they will start righties, and they'll have to come in and pitch hit late in the game against the bullpen. Casey Mai is going for Detroit. He's been terrific this season. When he's been healthy in the major leagues, he's been great. This line is out there at 7.5, minus 120 to the under. I'm even seeing a couple of places far away that have 8s to the under. I like Detroit here. I think I like this game under 7.5. And, some places you can get them at plus 100, but minus 110, minus 15 is fine with me. I like the Detroit-Philadelphia game to go under 7.5. A lot of Detroit games go under. This is a situation in Detroit, and it's one of those games that's starting at basically 6:10 Eastern, which means you're going to have some shadows. And they rarely play. Usually you start at 7. If you play a little bit earlier, times people play at 5 p.m. Eastern or 6 p.m. Eastern, that brings the shadows into the game, and that's another advantage for the pitchers. So, yeah, I think this is going to be probably a 4 or 5 run game.
All right, Bryan Leonard, WagerTalk.com. Total bases. You guys can check him out tomorrow morning with Tokyo Brandon and Adam Trigger, 9 a.m. Eastern, right here on the Wager Talk YouTube channel. Thank you, Bryan, for being up bright and early on the West Coast. We got another guy coming from the West Coast here in a minute. But first, I got to tell you guys about what is going on over at Picks and Parlays. Right now, you get 3 free flex picks using coupon code LCFlex. Just head over to picksandparlays.net and check that out. All right. A guy who I need to introduce because I've got all this stuff in the mix. Let me do this first. Let me put my producer hat on, Hakeem Prophet, because I know I can do this. The reason why I've been bugging him for weeks to come on, and it's hard because I get it. It's early out there on the West Coast. You got to get your plays up. You got lots of stuff going on Saturday mornings, but he crushed the NBA regular season, was up 32 units, crushed the NBA playoffs, up almost 70 units. He was 35-15. That was absolutely nuts. Now he's just taking it right on over to the WNBA, where his 5% are 25 units, 100%. He is 5-0 in those 5% plays. Number 1 in overall profit in 2026 with 118 units. Welcome in, Hakeem Prophet.
I appreciate you, Kelly. And yeah, it is a little tough to get up on the West Coast. I'm a person who likes to work hard, play hard, and 8 a.m. is kind of tough on those nights.
No, I don't miss it at all. I tell everybody this is why I love the East Coast, because I don't have to work until 11 a.m. or during football season, I don't have to work till 8 a.m. That 5 a.m. used to absolutely destroy my life on Sunday mornings every single week. Let's get into this WNBA card, but I also want to talk about, just for your clients, just for people looking for free picks, things like that. Are you doing NBA Summer League?
No, unfortunately, I don't pay the most attention to Summer League. I do kind of glance at it just to, keep track of what's going on. But as far as betting opportunities, I don't feel like they necessarily care as much as I think they should. And I prefer to put my money in places where I know people care.
There's that. And I also think that being able to get down significant amounts of money and, of course, seeing 7-point total line moves on the odds logic screen in a blip kind of tells you everything that you need to know. Okay, let's talk some WNBA, guys. If you have a question for Hakeem, drop it in the chat. If not, Hakeem, I'm going to let you do what I let everybody else do. Just let the dog off the leash and talk some basketball.
All right, we'll start at the top. The first game that we have today is the Liberty and the Lynx. This one opened up -1.5 for Minnesota, and it's moved all the way to -5. And I can understand a little bit of why. I mean, they played the past couple games without their rookie of the year, Olivia Miles. She looks like she's going to be back in the lineup tonight. And you look on the Liberty side, they're minus Satu, Leonie Fibic, and Astier. For one, missing Fibic and Sably, I mean, that's a lot of depth you're missing at the forward position. I know they've won 7 out of 10 games without Fibic this year, but she's been a big part. And whenever she's been out in previous years, they haven't fared so well. This game specifically, I just know that you have a Liberty team off of a loss, a Liberty team that's played really well as an underdog. They've covered 3 out of 4 games, and a Liberty team that is kind of falling down in the standings. I think they're like 3 games above 500. So you know you're going to get max effort from them because of all of those things, and you're catching points now. This is a line that was almost a pick 'em at -1.5, and you're getting a couple possessions. I understand how good Olivia Miles is, but I just don't think that this line move is warranted. I think that the Liberty can keep it competitive, if not win the game outright.
Here's the fun question. We got all caps on a Saturday morning. Hakeem, tell me how the Toronto Tempo yesterday against the Dallas Wings, they were in the lead all the way to the fourth quarter and still lost. Why are they so bad?
They don't play any defense. Yeah, they don't play any defense. I mean, even when they're healthy, they have not been a team that can defend. I want to say if they're not the worst defense in the league, it's the Sparks, but they're very close. And not only that, now you're missing offense with some of the players that you're missing for that team. So Marina Mabry can only do so much. I mean, she's scoring 34 points, and it's still not enough. They just don't have enough right now. They're a new franchise. They'll get it together.
I was just getting ready to ask that. Is it because they're a new franchise, Hakeem? Is it kind of just like when, you get a new hockey franchise or new NBA franchise, it just takes time for these teams to gel?
I want to say yes, but we've seen one franchise, the Golden State Valkyries, have success right out the gate. So I can't really say that. It's just the collection of talent they have there. It's hard to win if you can't get stops. So that's what I see from them. And one other thing, I'm going to give credit. I mean, Paige Beckers, she's one of, if not my favorite player in the WNBA. And night after night, she continues to show why she gets the support from everybody that she does. In that tempo game, if you just sit and watch her 34, 36 points, whatever she had, it's just crazy, the talent and the baskets that she's getting. Her one-on-one game, all the moves that she has, she can do everything on the court. So that's another reason why the tempo couldn't hang on and cover. Paige Beckers on the other side.
Very good point. I can confirm Hakeem is a big Paige Beckers fan in the group chat. All right, let's get into a couple more of these games. Guys, again, if you have a question, you got a comment, drop it in the chat. Hakeem, I would lock Paige. Oh, boy. In the comments, guys. All right, next game that is on your radar, Hakeem, for this beautiful Saturday slate.
Well, we can just go down the list. The next one in the W looks like Portland and Atlanta. You do have Barker out for Portland. Other than that, they should be pretty healthy. For Atlanta, still no Bree Jones, and you have Angel Reese game time decision for tonight. This Atlanta team is coming off of a nice win, double-digit win after, I think they lost, 5 in a row? Then they had 4 days off to correct whatever was going wrong, and they were able to get a W. This still is a team that just hasn't been playing. They haven't shown enough consistency. They'll have a 5-game stretch where they're playing super up-tempo and playing well and knocking everything down. Then they'll have a 5-game stretch where they look terrible. And just because they had one game, where they look decent against the Seattle Storm, who are at the bottom of the standings, I can't trust them enough to put my money to lay 12.5 points. So I know Portland is not a great team. They haven't been getting a lot of wins, but they're one of those teams where they've kind of shown that they're so bad. The market is giving them extra points and is helping them cover. Like, they've covered 3 games in a row. And I think this is one of those situations where you're just asked to lay a little bit too much with the Atlanta Dream. So if I'm playing this game, I'm going with the dog, the Portland Fire.
Ooh. 13.5s are available on a couple different rogue sites, if you catch my drift. And that does tell you got to pay a premium to bet against some of these bad teams. Unfortunately, that did not work out for the tempo bettors yesterday, but hopefully it works out for the fire bettors today. Hakeem, before we get into the Mercury and Aces, tell everybody what you got going on over at WagerTalk.com. When you first came in, I touted how hot things have been for you this year, including those perfect 5% for the WNBA on the season.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, WNBA has gone well. 5% have gone well. Like you said, we've cashed all five in the W this season. You can go back to the NBA season, and we've cashed 8 straight 5% winners. If you just want to look at all plays in general, I've cashed 16 of my last 20, and I do have a 5% play up and available for tonight. It is on a total, so that's why you're not hearing me talk about any totals, but I will continue to break down some of the sides.
Fair enough. I get it. We appreciate all of the insight that you have to share here in the W. Let's talk about that Mercury Aces game. The Aces I think it's like one of those exciting teams to watch, but then every once in a while you're going, what the hell are they doing? Tonight they are 9.5-point favorites over the Mercury. The Mercury is another one of those just not great teams, but I do feel like the Aces are another one of those teams where you have to pay a premium to bet them, whether it's because of Asia Wilson or just because of their Las Vegas name across their jersey.
I agree with everything you said. I mean, first of all, yeah, I mean, what the hell are they doing getting rid of Kennedy Carter? I understand, she's had a lot of problems in different locker rooms. And in my opinion, it's because she knows she's a lot better than everybody else. And she doesn't like to have to, act like she's not. She doesn't want to have to be the big team player. And I get it, how that can disrupt some good teams. And I got to give the Aces credit, though. Becky, she's won championships. She knows how to run her ship. But yeah, that's how I feel about that. The Aces, I agree also that you have to pay a premium to bet them. You look at this game, I mean, the Aces are on the front of a back-to-back. You're still asking them to win by double digits here. And the Aces play the Fever tomorrow. That's a team that they just lost to about a week ago. And I think they got blown out at home. They at least lost by double digits. So they have a game on deck that they'll care a lot about versus a better opponent. I don't think you get max effort from the Aces here tonight. The Mercury, coming off of a tight loss to the Fever, they're going to be the hungrier team. You are going to get that max effort from them. And I just think 9.5, close to double digits is too many points to lay with the Aces in this situation. So I would say the Mercury are the way to go in this game.
Very, very interesting. All right, let's talk about the impending football season. What you got going on right now? You're just completely focused on WNBA. Is that correct?
That is correct. But when the WNBA goes to All-Star break, the past few years, that's usually when I do my NFL work. And I've done really well in NFL futures. And futures in general, I've won 20 of my last 27. So I'm going to do my work during the All-Star break, which is coming up very soon. And then I'll have, I usually pick between 1 to 5 win totals or futures that I like. And also, NFL in general, I've learned that my lane is props. Last season, 19-9 in props. So I'm going to do heavy futures, heavy props, and just pick a couple, maybe a couple sides or totals. Let you guys over there on
well, sides and totals are hard to beat. It's one of the toughest things to do. Yet every single week, there I am, cranking away, hating my life. In the fourth quarter, you talk about the tempo blowing leads. I can't handle another NFL double lead. No,
you understand football so well. I watch you guys and I learn from you guys. I watch you, I watch Marco, I watch Gianni, I watch everybody. Take a little bit from what everybody does and try to put it to what I'm doing. So football comes, I'll let you guys lead the way, and I'll stay in my way.
We talked a lot about handicapping some of these NFL season win totals, and I looked at my long list. I got about 7, I think maybe 8 teams that I'm either looking to bet over or under their season win total. 2 of them I already bet because I had to get on it because I knew they were going to move. But a couple other ones, I was like, maybe Teddy's got a point here. Maybe this team regressed so far from last season, just a little overachieved. You gotta keep it within the parameters. You can't buy in too much or take away too much. Like I really want to take the Patriots season win total under. And he's like, listen, Cal, I get it. Like they had a lot of offseason drama, but maybe look at a couple other moves that they made. Yes, they benefited from a very easy schedule, but don't let that hold too much weight, right? So I got a lot of work to do myself. I'm excited. Skee, question. Are we still fading the dream first half in games?
Well, they haven't given us a reason not to. I mean, like I said, they've been one of the teams that's been pretty inconsistent, but they have been slow starters. So Until they give us a reason to look otherwise, I can understand that. They are the more talented team. They could wake up in the second half and start to run away with this game. Maybe Portland first half is the way to go in this one.
All right. Give us any little information that we have not talked about. Profit picks almost every single day. You and Rob Vino, usually around 1:30 Eastern, you guys are going live on the WagerTalk YouTube channel. Anything else that you want to add?
I think that's pretty good right there. I will, people who watch the show know it's kind of ski time, I guess people call it nowadays. I'll say 45 minutes after the hour, maybe 50 minutes after the hour. That's when we start that show. But I like to say we do a good job. We break down every single game in the W. And when we get to other sports, we'll do those too, like college football. Not every college football game, but some college football, some NFL. But every basketball game, we break it down. And Vino and myself have been pretty hot lately. The last time I checked, we were both combined 32 and 14. So that's something you can check out Monday through Friday over at the WagerTalk channel.
Yeah, I did a last call with Vino and Trig. Vino knows a lot of stuff about college basketball, a lot to be learned from him. Appreciate you hanging out early.
One thing, Kelly.
Yes.
I don't, it just coming to my mind. I've done really well this year. I think I'm still #1 at WagerTalk. And a reason why is because I focus on what I'm good at. And you know who told me to stop betting things that I'm, maybe not the best at?
Me.
Exactly. So thank you to Kelly. That's probably,
and if I could only just take my own advice, because I just got my ass absolutely kicked during World Cup. Not just following, all I had to do was follow Carmine Bianco. That's all I had to do was follow Carmine. Just blindly bet whatever Carmine. Couldn't do it. Hakeem had to think, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to figure out something. The draws did really good for that first week and a half. And let's just say I gave it all back. But this is exactly why. You find your niche, you find what you're good at, and you keep it consistent. #1 in overall profit in 2026. Funny that his last name is also Profit. 118 units, 238, 183, and 2. That is a very nice 9.5% return on investment. If you partnered up with Skee, make sure you guys head over to the WagerTalk homepage and check out what he's got up for today. Keep crushing those 5% Skees, and we will see you here in the next couple weeks after the WNBA All-Star break. Thank you to everybody who is hanging out with us this morning here on Last Call. We got to get out of here because we have a glorious slate for today, whether it was tennis, whether we got soccer on the pitch, we got some PLL. Make sure you guys head over to my Instagram and check that out. And of course, if you guys have not gotten a chance, go to picksandparlays.net. Get your free 3 flex picks using coupon code LCFlex.com. And again, hope you guys have a wonderful day. Hit that thumbs up. Give us some love in the comment section, and we'll be back next week with some more late breaking plays for you guys on Saturday morning. And yes, Ariel Epstein's going to be here, so I'm going to make her come on the show as well. Have a good one, guys.